Well, the past few months has been a tumultuous time faced with unprecedented disruption, uncertainty economically, socially, and even politically. We've also witnessed the world pushing the envelopes of science, technology, and innovation to lead the pandemic on all fronts. A special thank you for all the heroic actions for many who rised to the occasion in this season. As Asian economies emerge from the lockdowns, government leaders bear a heavy responsibility of shaping the economic recovery, controlling the outbreak, ramping up reliefs, and restoring jobs. There is so much that the government needs to do at speed and scale. With the digital-led pandemic response, many leaders recognize the critical role of digitization and acknowledge that the overhaul is overdue. The reboot and the recovery offers an opportunity for what the World Economic Forum coined the term as the Great Reset. This gives leaders the opportune time to reshape the economies to provide for better, greener, and more equitable outcomes for all, leveraging the digital technology stack for acceleration at scale and speed. Building on tech skills that are so critical for inclusive participation in the digital economy, and more importantly, investing in security to sustain people's trust and putting sustainability at the core of all we do. The unprecedented disruption from the pandemic accelerated digitization. People are leveraging cloud technologies, AI models, robotic process automation, apps and data visualization tools for monitoring outbreaks, automating their workflows, capturing data from multiple data sources, and synthesizing to enable dynamic decision-making. For example, you see that applied in contact tracing or deciding on social policies, but more importantly, coordinating the first response. The government of Korea, for example, in late March, was able to launch a COVID-19 data platform that reduces contact tracing time from 24 hours early in February to about 10 minutes in March. In the Philippines, we see the Supreme Court has shifted to virtual hearing for all its 925 courts nationwide, releasing about 4,000 people deprived of liberty within just a week of virtual operations. Overall, in Asia, we're proud to say that we have more than 100 stories of such digital-led COVID-19 recovery solutions in partnership with government, public health institutions, as well as the educational institutions. The pandemic has prompted public sector agencies to face an urgent imperative to deliver better outcomes and improve citizen experience for public services. Achieving these results calls for an ambitious, large-scale transformation. It's time for government to hit refresh and push for bold-scale digitization that amounts to nation rebuilding, reshaping the economy and society for a more sustainable future. It's encouraging to see the Asian government making its strides. Singapore government, for example, recently announced a $3.5 billion increase in ICT spend to accelerate digital. Philippines government updated its cloud-first policy to make it about mandatory for all government agencies. In Malaysia, government is looking to speed up e-government as well as citizen digitization for the new normal. Digital transformation can bring forward immediate productivity, optimize cost, and provide for the transparency benefit that's needed to soften the strain on public sector and get you immediate short-term benefits. For example, increasing access to relief and social benefit through e-government applications. Using the entire digital value chain, digital citizen ID can bring civic and social empowerment while reducing fraud and increasing transparency of how stimulus funds are being distributed. Today, the fundamental elasticity and scalability provided by cloud computing is enabling a faster build-out of innovation from ideas to code, faster insights from large data set, whether it's structured or unstructured, connecting the physical and the digital world, bringing more situational awareness and new avenues to improved efficiency. Tools such as Power Platform with low-code or no-code capabilities are enabling more people to become developers and spin up applications and virtual agents on the go. The digital accelerators are enabling anytime and anywhere access to applications. You see bi-direction anytime, anywhere engagement models for citizens and definitely driving an open ecosystem for innovation, thereby shifting the paradigm of government work, operations, and citizen service delivery. But to enable this large-scale digitization, government needs to focus relentlessly on 3 Ps. Number 1, people within their organization, the employees. Number 2, the people in their country, the citizens. Number 3, the people in our educational systems today, the students. The International Labour Organization estimated that with the layoffs and the temporary reduction in working hours in Asia, we could decline by about 10% of equivalent work time, which is amounting to about 175 million full-time jobs. Research shows us that 2 out of the 5 job loss were never returned, and more than 79% of the CEOs surveyed highlighted the widening skills gap required for employees to participate in tech jobs. And more importantly, today is the highly tech-enabled jobs in our new world. In Microsoft Asia Pacific, we're working to ensure that every person can develop the skills and have access to the resources needed for economic participation in a highly digitized world. In 2020, Microsoft worked with governments and more than 30 nonprofit organizations in Asia to increase employability of about 1.2 million people entering the labor force. Through the rest of 2020 and 2021, our skills initiative will see LinkedIn, GitHub, as well as Microsoft taking joint steps to skill 25 million people, from students preparing for the future of work to workers, many whom jobs are affected today, to the citizens to lead a digital life. As we transition to a more digital society, there are 2 fundamental pillars that must be at the core and central of all we do: cybersecurity and sustainability. With the explosion of data and digital connectivity, trusted and secure data corridors must be of utmost priority for all. In the World Economic Forum's later Global Risk Report, cyber attacks are among the top 10 risks in terms of likelihood and the severity of its impact. Cyber criminals are building malware campaigns to target millions of us under cover of the looming pandemic. Organizations must take 1, proactive risk management measures. 2, invest in building a cyber-resilient culture. And 3, shape the cybersecurity strategy on a zero-trust model. A zero-trust model is a holistic approach to security that teaches us to never trust, always verify. In this model, every request must be strongly authenticated, authorized, and inspected for anomalies before granting the access. The system checks everything from the user identity to the application hosting environment to prevent a breach. At Microsoft, we take a zero-trust, assume breach model for our cloud environment and weave in intelligence from trillions of data points coming from billions of endpoints, built-in experience, and integration into the security technology we offer to our customers. In the accelerated scale of digital transformation, leaders and organizations must intently invest and own the core responsibility of sustaining people's trust and safeguarding privacy and protecting security. And lastly, as the pandemic pressured public sector to transform and repair the economic damages, it also opened doors for us to re-engineer operations and reimagine societies sustainably. A recent survey of the top economies shows that stimulus measures targeting at good environmental outcomes can produce much more growth and create many more jobs. South Korea, for example, is using coronavirus stimulus packages to green the economy by investing in renewable energy as they reshape their post-pandemic cities. New Zealand government has a plan to create 11,000 jobs where people would help to restore the wetlands and replace forests for a green post-pandemic world. Microsoft has always been at the forefront of social economic and environmental costs. We invest in innovation and encourage the larger community to participate and contribute to this cost. We recently committed 1 billion capital over the next 4 years and committed to be carbon negative by 2030. But we see a greater potential through the wider public and private collaboration using digital technologies for carbon reduction and removal. For example, with the technology today, we can better measure emissions generated while creating those products and empower every consumer with this data for them to make their buying decision, just like the way you will read your nutrition label on a food product on the grocery store. The Great Reset gives us unprecedented opportunities for government leaders to leverage the tech stack for digital transformation at speed and scale. It's time for us to come together as a wider ecosystem to build the skills that are required for an inclusive participation in the new digital economy. And in this nationwide transformation, security and sustainability must be at the core and center of everything that we do. Microsoft looks to partner with governments around the region in your national digital transformation plan as we reimagine the new normal for a better, greener, and more equitable outcome for all. Thank you for reimagining the future of government with us.